All of you are always asking for off-meta picks, so how about Varus jungle? Yes, you've heard me right, Varus in the jungle role and being actually a viable champion. So without any further ado, let's hop into the game while showcasing everything you need to understand about this champion and pick in the jungle department. So take a good look at the build, at the lobby, this is legendary queue by the way, and then we'll make you understand how you can pilot this champion on your own, even in your games. So let's look at it. He starts with a longsword and his first ability, and is going to place a typical play. I'm going to do a typical play by placing the control ward into the topside jungle, recalling and swapping to a sweeper. And then, most likely, you are going to see a potential full clear, or maybe he does a partial clear into a proactive play. For the runes, he needs to be fast, since Varus doesn't really need more damage. And since he's playing against the Kazakhs, he really wants to make sure he's tanking. He's literally helicopter, if you remember this meme. But yeah, he is going crazy. When it comes to Varus as well, there's something that's quite interesting. If Varus kills something, he gains attack speed. And he puts the minions low, and then uses the first ability to get them even lower or finish them to then pull the red buff. It is perfect sequencing. And now uses the second ability to then gain a bonus execute damage. He probably smite, yeah. And then he uses the same technique again, pulling the next camp while dealing damage. He here deals only with one little raptor to then transition to the other side, making sure to keep the potential stacks up as much as possible, then putting the stacks onto many of these minions here, and then kiting towards the next camps. Now he's level 3 and he's probably going for a level 4 clip. Maybe he goes for a scuttle crab here. But he needs to be careful of the Kazakhs. However, Kazakhs level 4 is not the worst yet, but Kazakhs level 5 is the scariest part. He does a multi-camp clear again, leashes them together, gets relatively low but uses the Blight passive in a very wonderful way, clears 5 camps in 132. That is an amazing clear. I need to play this. That looks fun. This clear is very nice. Another Orianna goes close, and the Orianna has to flash, and he just flashes after, instantly kills her. I can't even speak anymore. I can't even say Orianna. And now he just recalls on the spot. Maybe goes for his his raptors, or maybe tries to go for a proactive play on the other scuttle because he's so far ahead right now with being level 5, and the Kazakhs can't be level 5 yet unless he kills the scuttle crab, and then it's just a free real estate. If the Kazakhs happens to face check him here, he just dies. Oh, and the enemy bot lane is overextending. The Varus walks around the corner, waits for the enemy flash, kills them and executes them with the first ability, and picks up every single kill. This wave is terrible, it needs to be pushed. This wave needs to be pushed, you're not allowed to leave. He realized this, he goes back. The question is, does he go base now, or does he farm for something else? Because he has a completed item in base with the longsword. What is also a genuine possibility here is, he clears these camps, recalls, and then maybe comes back for the red buff and goes to the other side of the map. But the issue is he has spent so much time on the map right now, even though he has a completed item or component and boots in base, is that he can't really translate his lead right now. He's waiting for the enemy in a brush here, use the sweeper to get even more control. The Orianna, what are you doing? You can't walk up like this. The Syndra misses the stun. This might be a no, you just die again. The Kazakhs jumps the wall, but into 2 people, the isolation doesn't function. The Kazakhs just can't do anything if they stick together. One of the most deadliest things that could potentially happen if people splitting apart if the Kazakhs jumps you. He now has the completed Gluttonous Grease and goes for the I forgot about the Trinity Force, so he doesn't have the completed item, but still he could have went base for Gluttonous Grease into components. But yeah, he now has attack speed component, if I'm not mistaken, and Defage, allowing him to farm even more efficiently. You see the damage on the camps with the Blight passive? That's huge. He is snowballing, but you have to understand that the Kazakhs can still very much kill this guy very fast, and the only tool for survival he has access to is ultimate ability, and it's not even available. You saw that the vision plant was popped, and it's unclear if it was Orianna, meaning that the Kha'Zix could be around here as well. So it's a race against time. Does he get to the Aatrox first? The Aatrox ults away. The Kha'Zix is on the river clearing the Scuttle Crab there. Oh, Kha'Zix, you don't want this. You do not want this. You knew he was here, my man. He survives. No, he doesn't. Red buff gap. It's a massive red buff gap. An interesting thing here is that he doesn't... Okay. What he could have done is he could have recalled, unless he does this fast enough, to get the item spike, to then buy the item and then do the objective. But apparently he doesn't think it's necessary, and simply sticks around, and does the Herald on spawn with a slightly weaker loadout. But technically speaking, he could have recalled and went here, but I guess he's assuming that the Kha'Zix can't play here, so he's trading for the Ocean Dragon, which we saw on the minimap, and I don't think he'll be there fast enough, because he wants them to contest the dragon as well, because the enemy is so much weaker, but they really can't do so. The Aatrox is checking this, even though you should have known, because the Varus didn't show it. The Varus goes after the Aatrox. What are they doing? What is Aatrox doing? He's living a very dangerous life, and he gets immediately punished for it. Ooh, he might die. Okay, he survives. But again, the Aatrox, the Kha'Zix on the minimap, you see disabling the vision. The Aatrox knew or could have deduced that the Varus is on the Herald for the fact that he wasn't around a dragon. Which means you don't have to see to know. You just see that he wasn't there, meaning he is probably on the other side. And face checking, or checking if he is actually there, as you've seen, spelled the death for the Aatrox. Mid lane tower will probably fall to the Herald and maybe 1 or 2 auto attacks, unless the Orianna can deny this, and the Varus has to be a little bit careful. The Kha'Zix right now is a threat because you don't have ultimate. The moment you have ultimate, it will be fine, because it will be so much burst damage that the Kha'Zix just instantly dissipates, and if this is warded, this is a major risk. But it's a beautiful play. He hits the spell from the Fork of War, deals so much damage to the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa also on top of him, but the Ezreal's already with him. Or if this extends, it could be very, very, very dangerous. Beautiful ultimate by the Ezreal. The Lulu ultimate will allow him to just walk through the tower, they just tank up the damage, so the Ezreal can go for the execute. Nicely played, juggling the aggro and allowing the people to safely pass through the tower. Kha'Zix is here. Man's living a dangerous life. If the Kha'Zix has jump and the Kha'Zix had any kind of idea that he was there, he might have died and would have given the Kha'Zix a massive shutdown. And this shutdown could potentially lead to a snowball for the Kha'Zix, and then you have big problems, because your team consists of very squishy champions. And every of these champions, with the exception of Gwen, cannot really protect themselves in the same sense. Because if the Kha'Zix gets on top of you, once being ahead or fed, or at least snowballing, well, you die quite fast. Beautiful ult flash into the Orianna. The Orianna has no chance. 200 gold being picked up. And now we just travel around the Rift going for another camp, clear the Scuttle Crab. And then we have another full jungle to clear unless the Aatrox overextends, which is very unlikely. And even if we can't really reach him as of right now because we don't have ultimate available. Now it's very likely that the Kha'Zix might gank the Gwen, so we need to be careful up here. One play that's possible if he didn't have to reset for such a massive item spike is to wait in the top brush to see if the Kha'Zix comes. But without ultimate available, it's still a massive risk that you don't have to take. And the Sense Reaver is a very powerful item on this champion, simply because it buffs your damage in your first ability by 22.5%, which is massive. And the Aatrox face checks you, the Aatrox dissipates, hops over the wall, Gwen can't really go after, now walks through the tower, gets the tower, and now it's basically chasing down the Aatrox. Maybe the Gwen will die here, actually. But the Scissor... Oh no, the Syndra makes her appearance, and you won't... Oh, he got an assist, at least. He needs to be very careful, like face-checking the Kha'Zix, or luckily he sees him on the minimap now, and the Kha'Zix probably wants to make sure to cash in on the Gwenster. But luckily he doesn't know that he's on a vision ward. Now, going around, the enemy Orianna is being caught once again, but the Aatrox is still, no, not the Aatrox, the Kha'Zix hunts down the Gwen, so even though the Gwen knew about this, she still dies. Nice ultimate onto the Sona. The Sona gets instantly killed with every single spell thrown into the face. I don't really know why this, why the Lulu ulted, but I guess we just take those. With Kha'Zix being spotted on the other side of the map, it's still very unlikely that he'll be here in time before the Varus kills the jungle camps, which means the Kha'Zix loses even more gold, and the soul condition will be most likely denied by the complete control around this camp. Now he's chilling in the brush on the ocean map, making sure that there's no vision around, but given the fact that his team is recalling, he has to take a step back, clear the side wave, and play this one very slow. His ultimate hits on the Kha'Zix loses his entire HP bar, has to flash away. The Orianna is flanking with the Sona. It's very scary. He just walks away from the Orianna ultimate. There's just no way, yeah, there's just no way they can get this. His entire team recalled and probably had item spikes, and therefore forfeited the positioning, allowing the enemy to take position, and as a consequence, with the Aatrox also being here and the Gwen not being here, the enemy has a major advantage over the fight, and therefore just getting this for free. What is the Kha'Zix doing? He's crazy. Jumps the wall. My man. If there are a few champions in this game that are very sketchy to jump onto as a Kha'Zix, if you're not fed, it's Varus, Tristana, and Kai'Sa. These champions might just turn around and one-tap you if you make a single mistake. And for Kai'Sa, it's even worse, because if she hits you with a second ability, you can't even ult because you'll be visible, you'll be revealed. And in case you're wondering, why is he building Riftmaker? Riftmaker grants you a high percentage true damage, in fact 9%. But the damage of which is calculated is from your pre-mitigated damage, so before every single resistance applies. And given the fact that your second ability, your Blight, well, your first, like your passive ability, deals percentage max HP, and you have very high execute damage, you best believe that this item deals a lot of extra damage. Not to forget to mention that it offers you quite a lot of extra sustain, and it's just very nice. Oh, the Kha'Zix invested into the Edge of Night, and this is the item the Kha'Zix needs. If he gets the Edge of Night, he can't get denied by the ultimate and not get one-shot. And this makes it a lot more difficult for the Varus to play as champion. When the Kha'Zix doesn't have the Edge of Night, he can gain space by just walking away from the ulted target and then one-tapping the target with a full combo. If the Kha'Zix gets to deny the Chains of Corruption, the Varus ultimate, then he can just walk around and kill the Varus. And 1k shutdown into the pockets of the Kha'Zix are very dangerous, as I've mentioned earlier, because he has the tools of killing the entire team on his own. Time to drink something. The Kha'Zix is now forced to be reckoned with. The Gwen is 0 and 5. He's half the team's kills. He has 13 KP out of 16. This time he popped the Edge of Night, which Varus can do, but he simply didn't know beforehand that the Kha'Zix had the Edge of Night as he encountered him in the river. And with this now in his head, it's super free. Oh, and you cannot outsmite Varus jungle. You can't. If he isn't the one tanking Baron, and he gets free stacks onto Baron of his passive, as well as a second ability into first ability smite combo, you will not be able to deal more damage. It is simply too much. A flash ultimate onto the Kai'Sa again, catches her off guard, she dies, just nearly survives. The Aatrox now turns, but it just will not be enough. The Orianna can't do anything, she's not strong enough, she can't do anything. And the Protobelt GigaChat gaming experience, the Sona just tries to be useful, mission absolutely failed. Oh no. Also, for you to know, the mid-lane inhibitor is the worst inhibitor to take. It applies barely any pressure for the game, because you can start every single play through mid lane, and it provides the enemy team with a lot of extra gold, and you lose XP. So taking the mid inhibitor often is actually hurting you more than it does good for you. But taking any of these side lane inhibitors, like here, helps your team take the objectives on the other side, like here or here, because somebody has to deal with the waves on these sides. So you can play these objectives. For example, if somebody kills this objective, it's easier to take this, And if somebody takes this one, it's easier to take this because at some point somebody has to respond. And then you have the numbers advantage, which might not always be relevant, but it could be relevant in a lot of games. What did he pick up? Because I don't think it was Collector. I think it was Cleaver for some more extra HP. This is the enemy soul, but it's an ocean soul, which really doesn't matter too much. Kha'Zix currently doesn't have Edge of Night, and it's very difficult. He just goes over the wall into the brush. Oh, he just steps out of the brush, and the dragon is basically snitching on him. They know he's in here because of the dragon, and he's in a very bad place. But the Orianna walks up too close, gets instantly one-tapped, and the Kaiser ults into the Varus, even though he's still strong. The Aatrox is flanking, going onto him. He still has Proto Belt, but he just instantly gets slaughtered. A very ballsy play. Here he's assuming that the Kha'Zix might be coming around. And do you see the sustain? Do you see the healing from every single hit he gains? And just the overall tankiness from his item build. Oh, you went for Collector. Okay. He has the Collector. He has Riftmaker. He has Trinity Force. He has a lot of extra HP. Which really comes in handy, paired up with Bone Plating, Nullifying Orb, as well as the Overgrowth. Going forward, in case you also didn't know, Proto Belt procs Edge of Night, which allows you to use your ultimate onto the Kha'Zix again. But in this case, Lee Sono was caught and immediately killed. It's really difficult to pillage the jungle from this position because the enemy already got into position before you. So they just walk around, and right now there's not much to do apart from defending this territory. You don't really want to give the enemy complete vision control now, because still it's them having a Kha'Zix. So as soon as you lose vision of the Kha'Zix, it might turn into a very bad situation for you, especially if you don't have any layers of defense. Like, for example, Flash is a layer of defense, Zhonya's would be a layer of defense, even Proto Belt is a layer of defense. And you obviously want to use your spells in sequence, in a sense of cooldowns, to keep yourself safe while dealing as much damage as possible. There you see the execute beautifully done with the W first ability. No way the Kha'Zix can do anything about this. The Sona is stuck in the pit, gets absolutely slaughtered, and yeah, it's a free game. The Varus is absolutely stomping. The 074 Gwen is winning this game. It's a jungle diff. And yeah, you see, there are so many picks you can play in WildRift in the jungle department. If you play them well, and you saw that he played it well, there was a lot of thought process in the jungle clear, a lot of ideas and everything. So if you invest your time to playing your champion in the jungle, learning the ins and outs, the jungle clear, and everything that could be of importance for you, just being efficient, then your champion could be so much better. And again, beautiful replay. Thank you again to this channel for making this possible and allowing me to react to such amazing gameplay, because it's so enjoyable to look at and comment on. And I hope you also enjoy this, and make sure to give them a like and a follow because they really deserve it. And this is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, me commenting, me yapping about my day and this game, then leave a comment as well, like the video, and see you soon for more RiftGuides content.